Hello, my name is Zach Daniels, and this is my presentation. So a little bit of background on me. Excuse me. I am a very young teacher at my school. I'm surrounded by a team that's been together for over 5 years, and I've only been with them for two now. Every day I feel I need to prove myself to a team who have told me that they don't really want me there. I'm also very hard on myself. I always rather when people tell me what I did wrong instead of what I did right. Um, But I continue to work at my school despite all of this because I love my students. I love what I do. And just seeing the little things that they accomplish every day is very rewarding and very much worth it. So I graduated from Lock Haven University, which is in Pennsylvania, in 2018. And then right after that, I moved down here to Virginia to start my job, which I really, really wanted. I just finished my second year at James River High School in Midlothian, Virginia, and I am a special education teacher in a self-contained classroom teaching moderate intellectual disabilities, or MOID. Some more background. Some of the goals I have for myself: ensure that all my students are ready for the real world and have jobs upon exiting our program. That's our program's goal, but that's also mine, and it's not an easy task, but I really enjoy it. I also want to focus more on my students in my classroom and ignore all the negativity I get from my team, which is much easier said than done. And I want to just become the best teacher I possibly can, whatever that may look like. I have an open door policy at school for not only my students, but for the kids I coach. I coach soccer and swimming. And I'm always happy to have them come in and help out. They work with some of my students, which has been awesome. So I have chosen the ESOL track. I chose this track for a few reasons. First and foremost, my school is an international school in our county. We have at any one time over 90 countries represented at our school. Second, I have students in my classroom who English is not their first language. I can work with a disability, but I struggle with working with the language barrier at times, especially if it's not Spanish. My Spanish is decent. So I feel like this program would be, would be very helpful. And lastly, I already have a degree in social studies and special ed. And ever since I started at my school, I've always wanted to work with our ESOL program, whether that be through teaching whether that be through teaching them or having my students work with them and bridging a gap that exists in our school, because students in our ESOL program don't really understand how to work with even interact with my students, which is difficult to bridge, but this year I made some strides in doing so. So some data. At James River, I have noticed a change in our school has tracked data from my first year to this year. This past year, data was so heavily driven at our meetings, our faculty meetings, about statewide test scores and countywide test scores, and it kind of got away from taking teachers' input too. That even went as far as for classes for next year for certain high school students, they went more on their test scores than they did on teacher input. And from what I was told before I got there, teacher input was more highly sought after than it is now. And I feel that we need to go back to that because teachers are with them day in and day out with the kids, and they know them better than anyone else. And tests can't tell you who you are as a student. Some kids don't take them seriously. Other kids, like myself, were bad test takers. So I think there needs to be a balance between using statewide tests and also using teacher input. So for me, in my field, I collect lots of data for IEPs, for my students to help them with getting jobs. We use data a lot. My aide and myself use it heavily, especially this year. We use it to show parents at IEP meetings, but I also use it to show potential employers for my students. We also use it for math, English, and life skills, whatever that may be. Attached is also a Google Doc of a format that I made this year, just a sample of how we kept track of our students at work sites, different things that they had to cover. How I hope to improve my data, in hopes of improving it, I hope this course will be at least a start of helping me to improve my data. I also hope to gain some ideas from you all, because every school data is collected differently. There's different methods. I hope to collect some and then use it for myself. I'm also working very closely with one of my school administrators who worked in the MOID program for over 10 years, and he has been very helpful to me in showing me different ways to collect data, how best to use it. So that's been a big help. And that was my program, or my presentation. Thank you.